Well, get ready for some big changes with our weather forecast this week. Very cold air is going to move in, dropping snow levels down to the lowest we've seen so far this winter. Meteorologist Joe Ranieri is tracking everything for us tonight. Joe, could the valley even see an impact this week?
You know, I'm not expecting to see a valley event where we're looking at a couple of inches on the valley floor, but the snow levels, John, will be dropping down to 500 feet. I want to go up to the Oregon Cascades where we do have a weather impact alert. This is a live look from Mount Hood Meadows where they've seen about a half of a foot of new snow here in the last 24 hours. As you can see, a good crowd out there for the last couple of hours of the lifts running. And then going into tomorrow, they're going to be looking at another chance of maybe 6-7 inches of new snow. So we are going to be looking at some of the best weather we've seen so far in about 6 weeks up in the Oregon Cascades. That was the last time, John, where they really saw a good amount of snow fall, and that storm brought up about 2 to 3 feet of snow. This one could be close to 2 feet of snow by the end of the week. That's why I keep on telling you, there's still going to be, a series of storms moving through. So the weather impact is going to be throughout the Coast Range and the Oregon Cascades tomorrow through early Thursday morning. Snow-covered roads by, I'd say, midday, early afternoon along the Coast Range, along Highway 6, along Highway 26 tomorrow afternoon. Make sure you have traction tires, chains, and an emergency kit just in case. So that weather impact alert will be in place from tomorrow all the way into the almost end of the week. Snow-covered roads, again, tonight and into tomorrow, the snow level where I'm expecting to see most of the accumulating snow throughout the Coast Range will be at 15 to 100 feet and higher. That's right around that Sunset Rest area, if you're familiar with the area as you go over the Coast Range. So looking at the advisories, got a winter storm warning throughout the southern Oregon Cascades. Meanwhile, that white color you see is a winter weather advisory that will be in place from tomorrow morning until Thursday morning throughout parts of the Coast Range as well as into the Oregon Cascades. So as we go into tomorrow, there will be some pockets of a mix of rain and snow at times along the Coast Range, but the mountains are going to get hit hard late tonight and into tomorrow. And going into tomorrow afternoon, the Coast Range sees the snow. And come Tuesday morning, there could be a little bit of a wintry mix throughout the West Hills. I'll talk more about that in just a few minutes.
All right, Joe, thanks so much. And as Joe was saying, the latest dump of snow is a cause for celebration for several of our local ski resorts, like Timberline Lodge, which posted a video on social media today declaring winter is back. It's after a delayed opening this season with limited terrain that slowly expanded through the weeks. Developing today, Portland police are asking for help finding the person who damaged a downtown restaurant. Surveillance video from earlier this month showing the suspect breaking into Hana Sushi on Southwest 6th Avenue around 6 in the morning. Police say the suspect stole from the business and damaged things before leaving. Police believe they're a Caucasian man, 30 to 40 years old. If you have any information about the suspect, please reach out to police. And we're learning more today about a burglary investigation out of Lake Oswego that led to the arrest of 3 people and the recovery of dozens of stolen guns. The Lake Oswego Police Department says it started after 2 separate break-ins late last year, targeting the home of a person who had recently died, as well as another home that had caught fire. Officers learning the suspects, Nicholas Welter, Miranda Rice, and Michael Kelso, would target homes and families covered in the news after already suffering some kind of tragedy.
It was just a very troubling case for us, because these people were really preying upon people who were just very vulnerable.
Following the arrests and search warrants on multiple locations, police recovered more than 30 guns, plus stolen artwork and a military service medal belonging to the son of the person who died. An update today on the theft of a van belonging to a business owner visiting Portland for the very first time. The owner of West Coast Fishing Tackle tells us the van was recovered this morning. However, everything inside had been stolen and the van had been stripped for parts. Owner Jeff Leong says there was about $20,000 worth of product inside the van when it was stolen from the parking lot of Fairfield Inn and Suites. The Canadian business was visiting town for the Sportsman Show this weekend at the Expo Center.
It's definitely going to impact our business, and this is financed by me personally, so that's a hardship to us. And coming down to the show is the main reason we're here, is just to showcase these products and get people to purchase them to fund our business.
He tells us they managed to fix enough of the van to be able to drive back home to Canada. No one has been arrested in connection to this theft. Funding for the Department of Homeland Security ended late Friday after Congress failed to pass a spending bill to fund it. The Transportation Safety Administration, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, the Coast Guard, and Immigration and Customs Enforcement are among the agencies impacted. Jen Sullivan has details on the calls for change and how Republicans and the Trump administration are responding.
Money to fund the Department of Homeland Security has halted. Democrats are pushing for reforms and more oversight of the agency's immigration and customs enforcement before signing off on more funding.
We have a rogue agency. Why don't we rein them in?
The demand for change comes after federal immigration agents fatally shot 2 U.S. citizens last month. Alex Preddy and Renee Nicole Good were killed by DHS agents during protests in Minneapolis. Their deaths sparked nationwide outrage over ICE's handling of protests. As a result, Democrats say they want to see a slew of policy changes, including tougher new use of force guidelines. But the Trump administration says those policies are already in place.
Border Patrol and ICE both have use of force guidelines. They both have operational instructions on, use the minimum force necessary.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says Democrats also seek no roving patrols. ICE agents blocked from entering churches, schools, or polling places, coordination with local agencies, and no more masks. In response to the January killings, DHS Secretary Kristi Noem announced earlier this month that all DHS agents in Minneapolis would wear body cameras, with the program gradually expanding nationwide. But she did not change the mask policy.
What are you going to do, expose their faces so you can intimidate their families?
A recent poll asked independent voters their thoughts on ICE's enforcement of immigration laws. 71% thought they'd gone too far. I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.
Lawmakers are on recess and aren't expected to return to the nation's capital until February 23rd, so DHS will be without additional funding for a while longer. Well, the search for Nancy Guthrie has stretched into its 14th day. Today, a source familiar with the investigation confirmed that a glove containing DNA evidence was recovered roughly 2 miles from Guthrie's home. It appears consistent with a glove worn by a person seen in doorbell cam video on the morning of the 84-year-old's disappearance. 2 sources familiar with the investigation also told NBC News that authorities are leaning away from several individuals previously scrutinized as suspects, as well as any of Guthrie's relatives. Back in our area, a group of people have joined a national effort to stop fentanyl overdose deaths. They gathered earlier today along Beaverton-Hillsdale Highway to bring attention to this billboard. It's Portland's first ever fentanyl awareness sign and shows people in our community and others across the nation who have died due to fentanyl poisoning. That includes someone close to the local organizer.
My godson, Brendan Bennett, passed away just recently in November. So as an advocate for the family, we want to get the word out, and I'm here trying to spread the word to stop killing our families.
Volunteers at the rally also had Narcan available to give out and tried to educate people on how to keep loved ones safe. New today, a nationally recognized pitmaster is bringing barbecue here to Portland, and he's teaming up with one of the city's most celebrated chefs in the process. Corey Johnson is joining us with details on the residency that's more than just food, it's a family affair.
Standing right under Con in southeast Portland, it's the smell that hits you first. Chef Gregory Gourdet and pitmaster Brian Furman have combined forces for a limited time residency, bringing Southern-style cooking to the Pacific Northwest.
We moved from Houston, so we're from the South, and we've been missing some of that Southern food, so excited to try it here.
Brianne Clark was one of a few dozen people lined up early outside Con in southeast Portland Saturday to try some barbecue. A specialty for pitmaster Brian Furman. Furman and award-winning chef Gregory Gourdet are teaming up for a residency that runs through April. It features Southern-style plates including brisket, pork spare ribs, chicken, pulled pork, and classic Southern sides, adding a new flair to the Portland food scene.
A lot of Texas theme barbecue, basically just copied it. Brings a different taste where we have like the Carolinas with the mustard sauce and then the Georgia red sauce. The spicy vinegars like Low Country.
And it's not only about the food, it's the building of barbecue with the help of family.
All the love that he's putting into these meats, like the briskets, it's like 14 hours, the chickens, 4 hours, 2 hours for the ribs. His mom is cooking all the sides. His son is helping him on the grill.
And the dedication is drawing attention.
I was watching the news on Friday and I saw this and, I love to eat food. My daughter and I always go out and try different things. So when this came, we were like, we got to be there.
Really, really delicious food, and it just excites the palate so much.
Pitmaster Brian Furman Barbecues open Friday through Sunday with dine-in and takeout options available. John?
All right, Corey, thanks so much.